Alright guys, so if you will recall, last meeting we reviewed those macromolecules such as carbohydrates, lipids, and I think I gave you an overview of proteins. So dito na tayo magsisimula sa proteins, then the nucleic acids. So for proteins, again, just like carbohydrates and lipids, proteins are made up of the following elements. So we have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, but with the addition of nitrogen. Now this is very crucial, guys. Now the presence of nitrogen. So any organic molecule with nitrogen, we will always assume na protein yun, no? Because of nitrogen. And proteins, they form polymers. Okay, they form polymers. And we know that the polymers are made up of monomers. The monomers of proteins are the amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. And in terms of the function, yung function ng proteins sa cell, proteins, they help build. Tandaan nyo to guys, they help build and repair cells and tissues. So that's the major function of proteins. They don't provide energy, hindi sila energy molecules. Proteins, they help build and repair cells and tissues. Yung carbohydrates and lipids, mga energy molecules yun. Pero ito hindi. And aside from building and repairing cells and tissues, proteins also control the rate of chemical reactions. And this is done by enzymes. Enzymes are special proteins that control or regulate the rate of chemical reactions. Alright, so that's an overview of the proteins. And we know guys that for the test for proteins, we made use of the Burette test. Ang Burette test, we have here two reagents. So may dalawang reagents ang ginamit natin dito. So again, we have ano yung mga reagents ulit from our previous discussion. So we have sodium hydroxide, ayan na, and copper sulfate. So pag may proteins ang isang food item, like let's say yung yogurt or yung egg white, diba? The solution will turn violet or purple. So pag naging purple yung solution, that means that may protein. Pag hindi nag-turn violet, hindi walang protein. So that's the Burette test for proteins. To continue, and again, amino acids, like what I mentioned earlier, amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. And again guys, this is the structure of an amino acid. So tandaan nyo to ha. So we have the amino group, yung NH2. NH2 is the amino group. So one nitrogen bonded to two hydrogen atoms. Then yung carboxyl group na COOH. So these two are bonded to the alpha carbon. Ito yung alpha carbon or central carbon na may hydrogen din. Yan. And also bonded to the alpha carbon or central carbon is the radical group. Kaya nga R means radical, or what we call as the side chain. So what do we mean by side chain? So ibig lang sabihin nito guys that any molecule or any element may bond to the central carbon. Ayan, no? So yun ang ibig sabihin ng side chain. And because of this, we have 20 different amino acids. Ayan, no? So again guys, don't forget the structure of an amino acid. So an amino acid has the amino group, yung NH2, yung carboxyl group or COOH. Both of these groups, yung amino and carboxyl groups, are bonded to the central carbon. And bonded also to the central carbon is the radical group, yan, or side chain. Yung side chain. So yung side chain na yan, that means that any molecule can bond to the central carbon. Sige, so moving on. Amino acids are bonded together through dehydration synthesis. Diba kagaya nito? So nakikita nyo itong bonding of two amino acids, amino acid 1 and amino acid 2. So pag nag-bond yan, there is the removal of a water molecule. Yan. So, ang tawag natin dyan ay dehydration synthesis. And if you want to break the peptide bond, yun ang tawag sa bond that links the amino acids. You can simply add water. Now, adding water will break or destroy the bond. So, tawag dyan ay hydrolysis. Here is an animation again of dehydration synthesis. So, ayan, nakikita nyo yung removal of the water molecule forming peptide bonds. And the amino acids are joined together to form a polypeptide chain. Yan, polypeptide kasi maraming amino acids ang nag-join to form a polymer. Yung polymer yan is the polypeptide chain. Ayan, so that's the dehydration synthesis of amino acids forming a polypeptide chain. So I guess we can now proceed. And like what I mentioned earlier, there are 20 different amino acids. So paano sila nagkaiba? So they only differ in the side chain dito, no? So, or yung radical group or side chain. Yung amino group, ito yung green, saka yung carboxyl group, yung blue, hindi yan nagbabago. No, ang nagbabago lang dito is the R group or yung side chain. So yung side chain, that means any element or any compound can bond to the central carbon. No, kaya we have 20 different amino acids like serine, alanine, glutamine, ayan, valine, yan. So, yung mga yan, no? At least 20, no? We have 20 different amino acids. So, everybody, I want you all to pay attention now kasi medyo malalim. So, there are 4, tandaan nyo guys, there are 4 levels of protein structure. The first level is known as the primary level or the primary structure. So, anong ibig sabihin ng primary level or primary structure? So, basically, the primary level is the sequence of amino acids. Like, ito, for example, yan, no? So, yung mga bilog-bilog na ito, everybody look at our PowerPoint. So, yung mga bilog-bilog na ito, yung mga circles na yan, they represent amino acids. So, yung sequence ng amino acids that forms a chain, ito yung primary level ng protein. So, the primary level is simply the sequence of amino acids that forms a chain or a polypeptide chain. Alright? Kaya lang nilagay ko dito. So, the protein's primary structure is the sequence of its amino acids. Then, itong primary structure na ito can fold. Pwede siyang mag-fold or mag-coil, no, forming a helix. So pag nag-coil siya or nag-fold, naging helix or pleated sheet, then it becomes the secondary structure. You know what the pleated sheet is? Yung sa palda, di ba yung fold ng palda? Pleated yon, or sa kortina, yung folding ng kortina pag nakasabit siya, pleated yon. Or even yung yero, di ba yung yero parang curve siyang pleated siya. Ibig sabihin yun, pleated sheet. Alright, so itong primary structure, pag nag-coil siya to form a helix, or pag nag-fold siya to form a pleated sheet, then it becomes a secondary protein. So, gaya nito, no? So, pag yung primary protein, nag-coil siya, or pag nag-fold into a pleated sheet, then it turns into a secondary protein structure. The secondary protein structure occurs when the sequence of amino acids are either coiled or folded to form a pleated sheet. Then, itong secondary structure na to na coiled or pleated sheet, pwede ba siya mag-fold? Ayan, to form a 3-dimensional polypeptide chain. So that's what you call the tertiary level. The tertiary level of protein is the complete three-dimensional arrangement of a polypeptide chain due to the twisting and folding of the secondary protein. Diba? Naalala niyo yung secondary protein. So pag yung secondary protein, yung pleated sheet or yung helix, pag nag-twist pa yan at nag-fold, edi magiging tertiary na siya. And if you have two or more of these tertiary proteins, pag meron kayong tatlo or apat na tertiary proteins na nag-join, you form a quaternary structure of proteins. Like ito, na nakikita niyo to, this is hemoglobin. Ito, yung nasa illustration natin. Ayan, no? So that's hemoglobin. So, tignan niyo yung hemoglobin. Ilang tertiary proteins ang meron sa hemoglobin? There are 4 tertiary proteins. So, ito, 1, dalawang pula, saka dalawang blue. So, ito, isang tertiary protein ito. Ito, tertiary. So, pag you have here 3 or more na tertiary proteins that are joined together, you form a quaternary protein. Like hemoglobin. Diba? Alam niyo naman yung hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is responsible for the reddish coloration of the blood. Diba? Sa mga red blood cells, kaya red ang red blood cells because of hemoglobin. Alright? And hemoglobin is a quaternary protein. Keratin. You know what keratin is? Yung sa buhok natin. No, ang hair natin is keratin, and yung kuko natin is also keratin. Keratin is a tertiary protein. Ayan, so again, before we move on, again, now we have here 4 levels of protein structure. So the first level is known as the primary level of protein structure. So when we speak of the primary level of protein structure, this refers to the sequence of amino acids forming a polypeptide chain. Alright? Then, if the primary protein would start to coil up forming a helix or alpha helix, or if the primary protein folded to form a pleated sheet, then it becomes a secondary protein. Then, if the secondary protein would twist and fold, there is twisting and folding of the secondary protein, then it turns into a tertiary protein. Alright, so tertiary protein occurs when the secondary proteins begin to twist and fold. And if we have several of these tertiary proteins that are bonded together, you form a quaternary protein structure just like hemoglobin. I hope that's clear for the levels of protein structure. Ayan, so sana nabi-visualize nyo guys yung levels of protein structure from primary level. Yung primary level, basta pag nag-coil up yan or pag nag-fold yan into a pleated sheet, magiging secondary na yan. Pag yung alpha helix or yung pleated sheet nag-twist or fold pa yan, magiging tertiary. And pag several tertiary proteins would join together or would bond together like hemoglobin, yung hemoglobin, 4 na tertiary proteins yun. You form a quaternary protein like hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a quaternary protein. Alright, so before we end with this topic on proteins, let's talk about enzymes. Enzymes are special proteins. Mga proteins ito, no? And the function of enzymes is to regulate, no, or to control the rate of chemical reactions. Meaning, most of the time, they speed up or they accelerate the rate of chemical reactions. Okay, alam niyo kasi guys, most chemical reactions in our body, sa katawan natin, ay mabagal. No, and there are certain functions na kailangan mabilis yung mga chemical reactions. So para mapabilis yung mga chemical reactions sa katawan natin, enzymes are needed. No, enzymes, ang ginagawa ng mga enzymes sa ating katawan, they speed up or they accelerate the rate of chemical reactions. And these enzymes, they follow the so-called lock and key principle. Yan. Before we move on with the lock and key, ano ba yung mga enzymes sa katawan natin and in the bodies of animals? Kasi zoo yung ating subject, yung ating course. So, one enzyme is amylase, salivary amylase. So, saan makikita tong salivary amylase? Sa laway. Kaya nga salivary amylase o sa laway ito makikita. So, anong ginagawa ng salivary amylase? Salivary amylase is an enzyme that facilitates the breakdown of starch, okay, into monosaccharides. So, sa bibig natin, actually, digestion of food begins inside the mouth. Kasi may enzyme na sa bibig natin, yung salivary amylase. Kaya pag kumain kayo ng tinapay or french fries, then subukan yung ingmaya, just chew it for several minutes. Malalasahan nyo medyo matamis na yung lasa ng french fries or ng tinapay. It is because salivary amylase is actually breaking down starch into its monosaccharide units. So yung enzyme na yan, yung amylase na yan, helps in the breakdown of starch. Ayan, di ba? Kasi pag walang amylase, mabagal yan. Mabagal yung breakdown ng starch. Pero nandun yung amylase, mabilis. Mabilis yung breakdown ng starch into monosaccharide units. Alright? Maraming enzymes, lalo na sa digestive system. Like lipase. Ano ang ginagawa ng lipase? Lipase breaks down lipids. Kaya nga lipase. Sucrase. Ano bang function ng sucrase? Sucrase breaks down sucrose into glucose and fructose units. Ayan, so these enzymes, they speed up or they accelerate the rate of chemical reactions. And they follow the so-called lock and key principle. Okay, bakit siya tinawag na lock and key? Alright guys, ito na lang yung isipin nyo ha. Ang enzyme kasi, very specific yan sa isang substance. Kunyari, amylase na lang. Let's talk about amylase. Amylase is specific to a certain substance, which is starch. So, amylase will only react with starch. Amylase will not react with proteins. Kasi there's another enzyme for proteins. Pero yung amylase will only react with starch. So, very specific ang mga enzymes na to. Parang lock and key. Diba? There is a specific key to a lock. Hindi pwedeng ibang susi. Kasi pag ibang susi yung ginamit nyo, hindi nyo mabubuksan yung lock. There is a specific key for a certain lock. Kaya tinawag siyang lock and key principle. So, this is how it works. Ayan, no? So, let's imagine itong parang Pac-Man na to, yung blue. Okay, that's amylase. For example, amylase yan ha, amylase. Then, yung substrate, yun yung starch. Okay, yung starch. Ayan. So, makikita nyo, yung substrate, which is starch, is very specific to the enzyme. Kasi nakikita nyo itong parang space na to, no? So, yung space na yan will fit the starch molecule. So, starch is broken into its monosaccharide units. Yun na yung product niya. Alright, guys? So, that's how the lock and key principle works. An enzyme is very specific to a certain substrate. O, ayan, guys. O, gaya nito. Let's say, ito ulit yung amylase, yung yellow na yan. So, yung starch fits perfectly dun sa amylase. Alright? So, ayan. Kaya yung starch, pag dumikit siya dun sa amylase, starch will be broken down into its monosaccharide units. Alright? So, there. That's the function of the enzyme, following the lock and key principle. Sige, so before we proceed to the nucleic acids, ito ulit ha yung levels of protein structure. So, anong tawag dito ulit guys? Anong tawag dito? Ito, yung sequence of amino acids. Alright, again, the primary level or the primary protein is the sequence of amino acids that forms a polypeptide chain. Then, what happens now to the primary protein? Magko-coil up to form a helix or magfo-fold siya to form a pleated sheet. Ngayon, nakikita niyo yung pleated sheet ito. Yan, yung parang fold ng palda. Yan, ito naman, alpha helix. So, ito na yung mga secondary proteins. No? Right, then pag yung mga secondary proteins, nag-twist, or nag-twisting and folding of the secondary protein, then it becomes a tertiary protein. Then, pag you have several tertiary proteins, kagaya nito, dalawa yung tertiary proteins na nag-join, you form a quaternary protein. So, with that, let us now proceed to the last of the biomolecules. So, we have here the nucleic acid. Okay, nucleic acids. Alright, so what are nucleic acids anyway? So, nucleic acids, basically, they store and transmit hereditary or genetic information. Alright, hindi sila energy molecules. Unlike carbohydrates and lipids, they don't repair damaged cells and tissues unlike proteins. Ang function ng nucleic acids is to store, transmit hereditary or genetic information. There are two types of nucleic acids. We have the deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA and ribonucleic acid or RNA. Ayan, we'll go to the details of those two later. So moving on, so nucleic acids are macromolecules containing again the usual elements: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, may carbon din siya, nitrogen, pero may phosphorus. There's an addition of another element called phosphorus. So, hydrogen, oxygen, may nitrogen din siya, carbon, and phosphorus. Nucleic acids, they are also polymers. They form polymers. And kung polymers sila, may mga monomers din siya. Ano yung mga monomers ng nucleic acids? The monomers of nucleic acids are called nucleotides. Right? Nucleotides are the building blocks of nucleic acids. Alright, so tandaan nyo yan guys, the building blocks of nucleic acids are the nucleotides. What is a nucleotide anyway? Ito guys, look at the illustration here. A nucleotide is composed of three components. We have the nitrogenous base, ito, yung parang green na ito. A 5-carbon pentose sugar. Yan, that forms a ring. Pentose kasi 5. There are 5 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yung kanto ng ring. Yun yung mga carbon atoms. So, 5-carbon pentose sugar and a phosphate group. Ito, yung bilog na blue. So, those are the three components of a nucleotide. So, you have the nitrogenous base, a 5-carbon pentose sugar, and a phosphate group. So, ang DNA and RNA, they are made up of nucleotides. So, individual nucleotides can be joined by a covalent bond forming yung RNA or DNA. Yan, like what I mentioned earlier, there are two kinds of nucleic acids. So, we have RNA or ribonucleic acid and DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid. Alright? Okay guys, so anong pinagkaiba ng dalawa? Makinig kayo guys, mukhang wala sa PowerPoint ko ito. Okay, so listen to me everybody. So I hope buhay pa kayo, no? Let us now proceed to the differences between RNA and DNA. So, one difference would be the nitrogenous bases. Alright, ano ba yung mga nitrogenous bases ng DNA muna tayo ha, DNA? Siguro narinig yun na ito. So, you have adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. So, those are the nitrogenous bases found in DNA. So, A, adenine, T, thymine, C, cytosine, and G, guanine. These are the 4 letters of the genetic code, A, T, C, G. Okay, so sa DNA yan. Sa RNA naman, you have adenine, cytosine, and guanine. Pero sa RNA, walang thymine. Tandaan nyo, walang thymine ang RNA. Instead of thymine, you have another nitrogenous base called uracil. So, ang RNA, ang nitrogenous basis ng RNA is AUCG. Ang nitrogenous basis ng DNA is ATCG. Ang DNA may thymine, ang RNA walang thymine, uracil siya. Alright? Okay. Another difference between DNA and RNA is the shape of the molecule. DNA is a double helix. So, alam niyo ba yung sabihin ng double helix? Diba yung famous na ng DNA, double helix? Ang RNA, single-stranded lang siya. Kasi ang DNA double-stranded, twisted to form a double helix. Ang RNA, single-stranded lang siya. So that's another difference in terms of the shape. Another difference between DNA and RNA is the 5-carbon sugar. Sa DNA, ang sugar component ng DNA is the oxyribose sugar. Sa RNA naman is ribose sugar. Okay, ribose sugar. Kaya nga RNA ribonucleic, ribose sugar. Sa DNA, ang sugar component ng DNA is the oxyribose sugar. And another difference yung location sa cell. Ang DNA is located in the nucleus of the cell. Ang RNA sa cytoplasm. Tandaan nyo yan guys ha. Ang DNA molecule nasa loob ng nucleus. Ang RNA nasa cytoplasm. Alright? So I hope that's clear guys for the biomolecules.